what is up, scrubs? This is Triple G here, another deck profile. Deck I've been playing a lot lately. A deck you guys all know I'm a fan of. You know, if you're in Panini, you know this is one of my favorite characters in the entire game, as well as one of the favorite groups in the entire game. This is going to be based on Captain Ginyu. Captain Ginyu and his squad, which I'm a big fan of the squad dabbing on people. In general, I think that Ginyu as a leader is underplayed. That's why I was really excited at the ARG seeing 6 Ginyus show up. I think that he offers a ton. The decks that were doing really well weren't necessarily they weren't built the way that I play, because I like whenever I play with a character or build a deck around a character, I'm definitely a Michael J. Flores, every part of the Buffalo kind of guy. So I truly enjoy making sure that I build the deck to kind of maximize on what the character is intended to do. Whereas the decks that were being played were more so just trying to abuse one card, which is Cold Bloodlust, which in my opinion is probably the most powerful card in set 1. Best card in the game, hands down. Completely strips your opponent's card or of the abilities that they were looking to gain off of it. So, you know, Gotenks 5, Prince of Speed, Beers 4, whatever they're trying to play, they end up just completely losing everything available to it. And that's one of the things that's big about this game compared to other games. Stripping something of its abilities completely is way better than instant speed removal, because the way this game works, even if I were to play something, there's no effects that just have the same exact timing as Cold Bloodlust right now that just kill something outright. So when we do get an effect like that, that'll be big and that'll be awesome to see. But for right now, Cold Bloodlust is way better than removal in this game. So the Captain Ginyu leader, again, one of my favorite leaders in the game. Very similar in City of Vegeta in the fact that he gets to control his life and draw an extra card every turn, which is really big. But in this deck, you're actually going to hit a lot of times if you have, you know, any of the Ginyu squad members in your life. Whenever you flip one over, they come instantly to play. So, I mean, that's one of the best feelings in the world, is when you activate his ability on turn 1 with an energy open, you flip a guy, and then you don't make a turn 1 play, so you get to keep that extra card in your hand, which is always a lot of fun. And sometimes on your turn, it's, you know, if you're going second, that's even better. But going first, it just keeps you from essentially getting behind on cards, which Ginyu does a really good job of keeping you ahead on cards anyway. And on his flip side, this guy right here, transformed Ginyu, he's real dope. So he has the standard when you attack, draw a card, but he has activate main, add 1 card from your life to your hand, and if you basically gain double strike, right? Yeah. This card gains double strike for the duration of the turn, and if you have 2 or more Ginyu members in play, you then gain plus 5k for when you're an attacker, which you actually use sometimes in this deck, especially when you're flipped over. But this deck also really just relies on swarming the field. I like decks that play a lot like Magic decks in this game, and this one, again, calls out to any sort of weenie deck that puts a lot of guys on the board. And in this deck, you get to kind of buff them, which with the Elite Captain Ginyu, but also we have other tricks up our sleeve too, since we are playing green. Green allows us to play a longer game with BOK, whereas yellow, you just play mono yellow with Ginyu. You lose a lot of that ability to stabilize and then win the late game. A lot of that has to do with being able to play stuff like Gotenks 5, which I think is the best 5-drop in the game, hands down, especially because he's basically a 3-drop, if not a 2-drop if you're evolving. So anyways, let's get to the deck profile. Anyway, as we know, we have our leader, Captain Ginyu, as we saw. So again, since I told you guys that I'm going to pretty much go all in on the squad, 1-drops are going to be pretty simple. So I play 4 Avenging Friezas. Avenging Frieza, amazing card. Again, it's the 1-drop that is the only 1-drop in the deck that'll let you net a card on your turn. So essentially playing him, you reveal your top 3, and since this deck has a ton of Ginyu army, since you play, you know, a lot of the Ginyu Force, usually always going to hit. And plus, this is the only 1-drop in the game, or the only card in the game that can tutor your 2-drop plus 10k draw card. So really important card in the deck, and really just helps you stay efficient on your turn, so you don't have to worry about ever falling behind on cards. So really big there. Next we have 4 Goldo. Man, it's by far one of my favorite cards in the game every single time I play with it. Being able to tap down your opponent's 1 or their 2 drop and being able to swing and kill it without giving your opponent a card is really big in this game. It's cool whenever you get to, take out somebody's hit if they were depending on evolving it later in the game, or if you're just trying to kill some of those floaters that are on the board. Gold is great for any sort of early game, mid game, or late game, or just for getting a blocker out of the way. Allows you to tap down a blocker, which is big for you if you're ever trying to swing out. And then if he needs to get big, he can get real big later in the game if you ever get to the 6-drop Ginyu. So huge fan of Goldo, great in this deck. Just great yellow 1-drop if your leader is yellow. So huge fan of Goldo. Next we have 3 Human Shield Krillin. Another blocker, but honestly I only want to use one of these per game, whether if it's on the table to get killed or I'm using it to combo. I just need to get one in the discard pile for later. Otherwise, copy number 2 and 3 is really just a green energy source. Again, as I talked about before, building your deck with cards in mind that you want to play as energy is really big. So that's one of the things I highly recommend when building your deck list is think about cards that you want to be your energy for the turn. And that'll really help you in your decision making and speed up your decision making throughout a game. So again, 3 Human Shield Krillins. Next we have 4 Doria. I don't really need to explain this card. I already told you enough. You should just play 4 of these. No reason not to play 4 of these. There's no drawback to playing 4 of these. So just play 4 of these. After that we have 4 Raccoons. Raccoon is a great attacker early game. But what's even better about him is that he is really annoying to kill because on your opponent's turn, he gains plus 6,000. So he's 16k, so your opponent would have to use a combo piece to kill him no matter what. So he usually hangs around the game unless your opponent uses hard removal on him. So this card's highly underrated. The 4th copy, again, is usually a source of yellow energy throughout the game because you're never really going to have more than 2 of these on the board whenever you're trying to go for the kill. But again, the fact that it takes your opponent to combo to kill him is really cool, especially if they're on their flip side. On their awakened side, they have to play that extra card if they want to get Raccoon off the table. So again, huge fan of Raccoon. Next we have 3 Berger. This is the only member that I don't want a full 4 copies of, and that's because I wanted to make space for some other cards in the deck. Berger's good in the early game because if he comes into play and you attack, you can untap him at the end of the turn, and so you save him around for the next go-around, so that's always good. The 3rd copy is usually a source for energy for us, again, because you have a lot of redundancy in the deck, or it's just a hit for one of my favorite cards in the game. Next we have 4 energy-powered Gotenks. Just a standard, good, like, run-of-the-mill. This is a 3-drop that is an attacker for you, and this can cause your opponent to lose a card whenever you're going to attack. And that's one of the most important things about playing any deck right now in the game, is if you're playing an attacker, making sure that you can deny your opponent a full card's worth of value is big. So Gotenks push your opponent to discard card, then draw one of their life if they want to take the damage, which, in my opinion, is more beneficial a lot of times than actually having critical. Because in this case, sometimes you're going to have to force your opponent to discard something really good that they like, or something they really wanted to hold on to because they haven't played that it is energy yet, as opposed to them just not getting the card from their life. So Gotenks, really good card. Next, we have one of my favorite cards in the TR game. We have 4 Jace. 3-drop 10k blocker. This comes into play a lot of times, especially with some of the cards we play in the deck. But the biggest thing is the fact that when it comes into play, you get to look at the top 3 and then place a member of the Ginyu Force immediately into play. This generates huge value for you late game because your deck's going to end up being pretty thin because you draw a lot of cards with this deck. And because you have the Avenging Freezes and the Jaces to kind of dig through. So hitting a free Golda to tap down a blocker, hitting another attacker when you just set up for your end game is big. And plus the fact that it's a 10k blocker, it ends up being really helpful with, again, the cards that we play in the deck that I'll continue to go over with you. So huge fan of Jace. These are really important cards. I really don't like to play them as energy ever, and I really like to save them for the later stages of the game. So be really sparing with your Jaces. Next we have 4 Super Saiyan Gotenks. In my opinion, hands down, the best 5-drop in the game right now, and this card will continue to hold value as you go into further sets because of how powerful its ability to untap 2 energy and draw a card is at 5 energy. These right now are 76 cents on TCG Player. I highly recommend you pick up extra copies. You're going to need them as the game continues. You're going to want extra copies to put in more decks, and if you're playing green, which green is looking to still be one of the best colors out in the game. You're going to want to play 4 of these, if not, 3 or 4 of these in your deck. So make sure that you're picking up your Super Saiyan Gotenks. Really great card. Next, we have 2 Awakening Rage Son Gokus. One of our late game cards. This is just an extra option for us. A lot of times you are going to be able to activate the Triple Strike because I prioritize comboing with Krillin or killing Krillin in some way. So you are going to gain the Triple Strike, and a lot of times your opponent has to be afraid of multiple cards at this slot. So a lot of times Awakening Rage Son Goku resolves. And then of course you have the sweeping abilities of killing up to 6 energy worth of stuff. So whether it's killing a big threat or killing some of those blockers that are on the field and setting yourself up to swing for game, Awakening Rage Son Goku is really cool and important part of the deck. The last 2 battle cards we have 2 Elite Force Captain Ginyus. Some games you're going to win. You're going to win by outvaluing your opponent through your 4 Super Saiyan Gotenks and your Ginyu leader. Some games you're going to end up just winning with weenies and Ginyu. And there's some games where you're going to play the 6-drop Ginyu and you're going to swing with multiple guys that are all big and all have double strike. And when that happens, it's one of the coolest feelings in the world because your opponent really, there's only so many things they can do because Jace is now 20k double strike. Berger's 20k double strike. Raccoon's 20k double strike. Goldo is 12k double strike, but that's fine. You can combo if you need to make him an attacker. And then Captain Ginyu himself, I believe he buffs himself. Choose all of your Ginyu Force battle cards. Those cards gain plus 10,000 and double strike. So Ginyu also gains the plus 10,000 and double strike, which is really big for him as well. Which, at first you don't realize how good that is. You don't realize it happens. Like me, I do it during the game because I read the card, but even right now, I still can't believe how good that is. He becomes a 35k with double strike when he comes down, and then buffs all the rest of your team. So, extremely good card, really good finisher in the deck. So now on to the extras. We have 4 Cold Bloodlust. I can't stress enough how good this card is. This is the best card, the most powerful card in the entire set, in the entire game right now. That's why yellow leaders need to be played more. I understand not wanting to play Frieza because the Galactic Emperor Frieza is really niche, and Golden Frieza just isn't too strong. I mean, there's some really good plays you can do with Golden Frieza, but Ginyu is that leader for you. As Jordan Markle proved in his 3-color deck, as other members of his team that played Ginyu decks proved, you don't need to go with the Ginyu package to use him. You could just use him as a yellow leader that has Cold Bloodlust and then build your deck around everything else. That is fine. But Ginyu is superior to, I'll use that, he's superior to Vegeta, all because of Cold Bloodlust. This card, past turn 4, which is really all you're worried about if you're playing a Ginyu deck, is just stopping your opponent's threats past turn 4. This card is going to be able to do it for you, and it's going to be able to give you a lot of wins across the course of a day. So please spend more time playing with this card. You'll truly appreciate it and begin to love it even more and more. And it's really hard to not play yellow since this card exists. Like a lot of the decks I build, I want to play yellow just because of Cold Bloodlust, but I know that I need to expand. And I have expanded by building a lot of decks, which I'll go after this. All right. Next, we have the standard 4 Crusher Balls. A lot of times this is your removal. This is you setting up your turn to win the game. But again, this is going to serve as weaker versions of Cold Bloodlust 5 through 8. But this is really just, again, in the later parts of the game to put your opponent's big threats tapped so they can't kill you. Because a lot of times you're going to be running your life low because you want to see that extra card every turn. So Crusher Ball allows you to stem the bleeding in a sense. And just allows you to pick off those threats throughout the game, or again, just survive. So it gives you an extra turn so you can figure out either how to deal with it or try and go for game that turn. Which in this deck, since you play so many low-costed guys that are combos, there's a lot of times where you can swing for game relatively early. So all you need to do is kind of just stem the bleeding for a little bit until you're set up to be able to win the game by comboing out on somebody. And Crusher Ball gives you that extra turn, and it's just something that your opponent has to play around. I think the coolest part about Cold Bloodlust and Crusher Ball is that your opponent has to constantly think about that throughout the course of a game. So it's going to cause them to be a lot more conservative with their plays, giving you the advantage. So my last 4 extras are 4 King Vegeta surprise attacks. I could play 3 But the fourth copy is really there for the additional value, or it's there for a green energy source. This card is really good in the deck because you play a lot of blockers, and this will surprise a lot of people since you do have revenge. So if you ever have one of your important attackers that is tapped down because they were attacking, your opponent tries to attack into them, you can play this card, make them bigger, and then your opponent can end up losing their guy. So for instance, if you play 15k Go Tanks, you swing to attack, your opponent attacks into your Go Tanks, you play King Vegeta's surprise attack, they now are a 25k and have revenge. So your opponent's going to end up losing their card and you're going to keep your Go Tanks. So this card is really important in the deck since you run a lot of blockers and since you run some really important attackers to keep them alive, and it's another form of removal. So this is really big, especially when your opponent has bigger threats than you do. So King Vegeta's surprise deck, I think, is a highly underrated card in set 1. I don't play the negates in the deck. I like full power energy, but more so in control decks. I want to leave your green energy untapped a lot more throughout a game, and is more so on the negate plan, so you're running these coercions along with side of it, or Vados Assistance. But in this deck, I definitely prefer King Vegeta's surprise attack as a pseudo negate / removal spell. So that is the deck. That is Green Yellow Ginyu. It's a deck I've been playing a lot lately. There's a video online that I have on my channel of me playing it on Octagon against Azareth Strife. That was a pretty good game. It shows off some of the cool parts of the deck. Other decks that I have on my radar for deck profiles for set 1, I have a blue-green starter Goku, as well as a mono blue Beerus that I've been playing with a lot that I really like. I'm just all in on the ramp plan, so that deck's really fun to play. Set 2, I already have some set 2 decks built in Octagon, so if you guys want to reach out to me and ever play a game, I do try and record those too, so if you don't mind being recorded, I'll end up posting those on the channel itself. But set 2, I'm super excited. Trunks is great. Cell is great. Blue-Green Gohan, working on. Definitely has a lot of potential because the green cards that were spoiled that really help out. Right now for Blue-Green Gohan, I'm doing the Goku engine, so I'm running four Kind Suns, 4 copies of the 2-drop Green Goku that draws a card. So I'm doing Blue-Green, and I'm running 4 Mighty Attacker Gokus as well. So I'm running a Goku package, and I'm running Awakening Rage Sun Gokus as well at the top of the curve. So I have removal so I can swing for game. So that deck's actually really cool. Ends up drawing a lot of cards. You don't fall behind early like you would expect. But Trunks has been really fun in testing. You draw a ton of cards in Trunks. Right now I'm testing blue-red Trunks. And then Mono Green Cell is another one of the decks I'm testing, which goes all in on the discard package. So you're running the full Broly package. You're running the 4 Cell card that discards 2 cards from your opponent's hand. I'm running TN so I can evolve quickly. I'm running 4 of Cell's Birth, 4 of the 3-drop Cell, 4 of the 5-drop Cell, and then 4 Android 17s. I'm not running 18. I'm not trying to evolve from the 5-drop Cell. I really just like the additional removal spell that the 5-drop Cell becomes when you evolve into it. So that deck's really cool. So if you guys ever want to play some set 2 games on Octagon, hit me up. I'm more than willing to play some games, so we can just continue to test out the format. I'm really big on doing that before a set gets released, trying to figure out what cards are really good, what cards are bad, what decks are going to be prominent. Early initial reactions to playtesting, I think Cell's going to be really big. In the metagame, that Awakened side is super strong. Even though you're not getting to, attack and draw a card, the fact that you can place a card under it, draw 2 cards, and then you have removal built on your leader is amazing. So please don't underrate that. Trading a card to draw 2 cards is way better than just drawing a card. So again, I'm a really big fan of Cell right now, and of course Trunks, because you can do all the combos. So anytime you get to play a combo with Trunks, so Kaba, attack, draw a card, play a combo, draw another card, like you're doing double strike, but you're not really having to worry about too much. You get to filter your hand. Lots of filtering in Trunks, which I think is really exciting. So anyways, really excited about set 2. Let me know what deck profile you want to see next. I think right now on my bench I have a blue-green starter, Goku, Mono Blue Beerus are the 2 newest decks that I've been playing with aside from Green Yellow Ginyu. Or if you just want me to talk about set 2 decks, just let me know. Otherwise, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Now up to 26-ish subscribers. Appreciate it, fam. You guys are amazing. I got some cool stuff coming in from the channel. I'm going to continue being consistent, hopefully doing videos every other day or so. Hoping to continue the Octagon videos a lot more often, and hopefully some live play videos sometime here soon. But otherwise, thanks to you guys for all the great feedback. And with that being said, I hope you get good scrubs. Yep. You. Get good. Okay, bye!